Hi, good afternoon, and we're here on a pretty perfect day for the release of 2011 Eden Valley Riesling. So talk to us a little bit about this day as an event and what it's all about.
Well, this is what is now an annual event in spring, and it's looking at the new vintage of Eden Valley Riesling. And as well as that, we always look at the back vintages as well, just to see a bit of a sneak preview about where the current vintage might end up. But basically, it's all about 2011 this year, and Eden Valley and Riesling.
Fantastic. And what I noticed inside, quite apart from the table about 2011, as you pointed out, some of the producers had taken the opportunity to sneak some older wines in. And it's always fascinating. I guess Riesling is one of those great varieties that you can do that with. So what can we learn from looking into history about the future?
Well, I think you learn everything about it. And it's interesting, and just as an aside, because I can't help but say this, is that I believe, in my heart, that Riesling in Australia is one of the best varieties for aging. Red or white.
Sure.
One of the most reliable and the best, particularly now we've got screw caps. So that aside, I think you see, when you see aged Riesling, you really do see the greatness of the vintage. Because it's easy to get blown away by the lovely fresh fruit and the citrus flavours and those lovely floral characters that you get in Riesling as young wines, and they are beautiful. But it's to see the true greatness and the pedigree of those wines, the strength of vineyards particularly, and of regions like the Eden Valley. That's when you need to see them with a little bit of age on them. And I think Eden Valley shows that absolutely beautifully. And there's vintages that we saw today, that as young wines we might not have necessarily said that's a classic vintage. Okay. It's a good vintage, but it's maybe not. But a few years down the track you go, yeah, there really was something about that year.
So the longer they have, the more likely they are to prove you wrong.
Yeah, that's right.
All right.
Sometimes right, yes.
So with that in mind, and given that the consumer is invariably a very busy individual, how important is it that certain companies hold things back and actually let later releases or museum releases onto the market? And can we expect to see more of that, particularly with regards to Riesling?
I think it's really important, probably, but only for a small percentage of our consumers. I mean, realistically, most people are just want to go, they want that lovely sort of freshness and they want that fruit, and we're really happy making those wines. But for those people that enjoy the evolution of wines, enjoy those bottle-aged characters, that lovely sort of lemongrass and toast characters that come through, it is really important that they don't have to do it, because people don't have time. Sometimes they don't have the money, and most people don't have the cellaring space to do it. And the fact that we've got screw cap and we've got wineries that are prepared to do it, I think is a real gift to those consumers that it means something for.
So if there's a single consumer benefit about drinking Riesling rather than any other white grape, what is it?
Oh, value for money.
Perfect. Perfect.
Well, Riesling is, of all the wines we make, it's the purest wine we make and the most simple wine we make. It's all about the vineyard. There's no, generally people don't use oak, they don't need to put it in the cellar for a long time. It's just about converting the sugar into alcohol so that the juice doesn't go off in the bottle. It's a preservative alcohol. That's all it's doing. It's preserving those beautiful flavours from the vineyard. It goes into the bottle. They're relatively inexpensive to make compared to the wines that we put into oak, and therefore usually they're great value for money.
Okay, so what I'm hearing from that is that Riesling is all about capturing the vineyard rather than the winemaking, which to me suggests a sense of place, and we're in Eden Valley. So once again, in a very simple term, Eden Valley Riesling, what marks that out from everything else?
Well, what marks it out is really it's about the flavour and about that beautiful line that these wines have. So Eden Valley to me generally shows, and of course there's always, exceptions to the rule, but generally shows quite a lot of lime and lemon citrus sort of flavours that can get into that lovely sort of bath salts and talcum area. But and then they've got this lovely soft acid. Mm-hmm. So they've certainly acid. Riesling's all about freshness and acidity, but it's not that really driving hard acid. Generally, it's a soft acid and it's a minerality which gives them beautiful aging ability. So the acidity sort of dances across your tongue rather than making the whole mouth pucker up.
So we're kind of quite familiar now with the idea that acid is a good thing in terms of food, and what you're suggesting, it's also something that we should welcome and look for and be comfortable with in wine and
Absolutely,
wine style.
As long as it's balanced. You don't want to take a sip of something and your whole body sort of shudder because it's so acidic. But as part of the style and that lovely balance, and if the wine's fresh and lively, I think it's a great thing.
Fantastic. Louisa Rose from Yalumba, thank you very much.